What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome back to Kirby Mass Attack. Last time, we fought a boss of our own creation in the Great Gear, and this time, we are doing what is possibly the hardest level in the game. So, let's go ahead and get into it. It takes 5 Kirbys to get in here. Luckily, we have 10. And there are actually 2 reasons why this is the hardest level in the game. The first is very apparent starting off. That is a sandstorm. And it's the first and main reason why this is the hardest level in the game. It's also why it's one of the most tedious levels in the game. Basically, if a Kirby is stuck in the sandstorm, or stuck above ground when the sandstorm hits, they will take damage. But because the sandstorm shows up every like 10 or so seconds, it causes you to have to wait for the sandstorm a lot. And I don't know about you, but waiting is never really a fun mechanic in any game. Kirbys, please. I was really afraid they were going to try to jump that ledge, which would not have ended well. We actually need to grab this. The sandstorm will make that appear and disappear, but you want to grab it because 1, it makes your Kirbys invincible to basically anything, including the sandstorm, but also you need it to go up these ledges to break these blocks. And we're just gonna hang out here till it wears off so I don't punt this door into obscurity. And the sandstorm, once again, should make at least something nice this time. The sandstorm makes the coin appear, or the metal, and you just need to grab it before the sandstorm comes back, because if the sandstorm comes back, it disappears forever. And once the sandstorm goes through again, we get our golden door out of here. And you can see just how slow this chapter, or this stage is, because of us basically be wary of the sandstorm at all times. I just have to wait for the sandstorm again. And also, this stage, nice fruit box. There's a ton of those in this world. That has to be like the 5th or 6th one we've seen so far. But what I was saying is this chapter also has, or the stage also has a lot of enemies that like to hold you in place for a long time, like the clank sprouts, that just make trying to avoid the sandstorm a lot harder and makes it a lot more tedious to try to survive not being stuck in a sandstorm. But we are just in another Scully stage. Everyone pile on the red one, please. And that should be our 3rd medal, I want to say. I want to say that's the 3rd medal. Come on, Gabe, prove me right. Okay, yeah, it's the 3rd medal. Luckily, this stage, the first 3 medals are very easy to get, as I showed already. It's the 4th and the 5th medal that are harder. Also, everyone down. We don't want to be stuck in the sandstorm. Alright, everyone over. And luckily, we're going underground now. So there's less issue. But there is something that I need to bring up. First, there's your warp door. But second, since we are underground, we first have these moving blocks that can crush you if you're not careful. So just break enough to make it so that you don't get crushed is what I'm trying to say. Okay, thankfully those spikes go away as soon as the big cactus is gone. Also, we get to make ourselves an elevator. We just make an opening and ride this right on down. We could also speed it up by breaking more blocks, but it's not a big issue. And now we have a light puzzle that should not take long, and hopefully not take long because I don't want to have to deal with that Mambon more than once. But right after this puzzle is a thing I don't understand. We're underground. Where is the sand coming from? We're gonna break this. Both sides, please. And we're just gonna wait here for another cycle of the sandstorm. And now we're gonna run. And we're gonna wait here because the next part we have to go up is actually kind of difficult. And surviving this all with the key is even more difficult. So we want to run and we want to jump right up here. Everyone up, please. Because if you're on that first level, the sandstorm just hits you still. And the second thing that makes this chapter, or this stage, so difficult is these brick blocks. Not the star blocks, but the brick one that is hiding the metal. That makes this chapter so much more difficult because you have to throw so many Kirbys onto it in order for it to break. So you have to do like 3 or 4 cycles of this sandstorm even to break the block. And we're just gonna jump down here. Well, 2 of them got hit, but I'm okay with that, surprisingly. And believe it or not, that's not the hardest metal to get in this stage. I'm actually just going to straight up fly across here. Because I'm not super worried about the Kirbys becoming red again. Or pink again. Because I want to have as much head start as possible in running over here. Because we need to make sure we can break these blocks. Because what we need to do now is we need to jump up here, break this stone block, and hang onto this ring that has a 10 on it. Okay, everyone back in the hole. And doing that will open this, like, gate and let the treasure chest down. Probably the best I've ever done that, if I'm being honest. And all we need to do now is get the key over to here, get our final medal of the stage, and I'm just going to put my Kirbys down here because I don't want them to get stuck in the sandstorm. And now we are going to just run this way. Come on, Kirbys, everyone together now. Luckily, if you can get into the sandstorm at the very tail end of it, it doesn't hurt you. You just have to be very specific when you get into the sandstorm. Because it can be dangerous if you're not careful. Get back down here. We almost have this stone block. I don't know why they decided to make so many stone blocks in this stage. They are the toughest blocks in this game, I believe, besides the metal blocks that you can't break. And they make it so you have to wait in between cycles in order to even try to break it. So it just makes a long stage even longer by forcing you to take time to wait, break block, wait, break block, wait. And it's just irritating. But we're just going to go into stage 8 and try to forget stage 7. Also, I didn't mention it, but the sandstorm is by far my least favorite mechanic in this game. And Clank Sprouts, we are just going to run by you because we have no reason to fight any of you. And we should be coming up on a new enemy right up here, which could be a problem if not properly taken care of. Come on, Bonbon. Stop hurting me. We're just gonna go under here to make this easier. And say hello to our new enemy. These are the Blam Bombs. And what they do is they just shoot cannonballs. And of course, my Kirby is low or high enough to be hit. Or no, these are not called Blam Bombs, they're called Blam Booms. I completely messed up the name. But they spin around, they shoot the cannons, and... Come on. You come here. You have to be careful not to hit this Clank Sprout because it is used to open up this door for us, which is needed. And if you defeat that Clank Sprout, it actually just defeats... you literally cannot get into this room if you delete that... Or, not delete, defeat that Clank Sprout. But what I was saying about the Blam Booms is they spin around and they have that, like, push-in part, the red, like, button part on their back. And all you have to do is hit that part and it defeats the Blam Booms. They are actually fairly easy to defeat. And also, I apparently lost a Kirby at some point. I didn't even notice. Blam Booms also sometimes don't even shoot cannons, which makes them very easy to defeat. But we just need to get this one onto the second level, and that gives us our first medal of the chapter. And hopefully this lets us out on a good spot. I believe there are Clank Sprouts here, so we are just going to try to push this block and avoid it. And next up, we are just going to defeat these bonbons because they are kind of in the way. And there are more Blamboons, and as you can see, the Blamboons can break steel blocks, which is very nice for us because if we just wait a couple of minutes, not even a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds, the Blamboom should be able to break these blocks for us and give us another medal, which I'm just going to throw the Kirby up there in order to get that one. Because apparently when you are defeating enemies, they can break the cannonballs when you bounce up with them, which I didn't know, actually. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. And we have a 10 platform, which we need 10 Kirbys to go down. And this should be our third medal. And this Clank Sprout should not even be any important. So we are just going to continue on and leave it. Have these Blam Booms break us our way open again. And we have another new enemy. This is called a gig. Last episode we met the mech gig, which is the robotic version and, in my opinion, the harder version of the gig. So I don't know why they introduced a harder version first, but this is where we first meet the gig enemy that kind of plagues the rest of the game. The gig, unlike the regular, or not the regular, the mech gigs, they cannot attack you directly and rely on creating enemies to attack you. Wow, they teleported. Usually the gigs will make bean bonds, so they are not like super difficult enemies, but I believe there's some points in the game where the gigs will make harder to defeat enemies. And now that we've gone over the gigs, we have new gigs. These are called the P.E.K.K.A. gigs, and as you can see, they explode and fill the screen with either smoke or sand. I'm pretty sure it's smoke, but they basically work the exact same way as the smoky snooze roots, where they just fill the screen with smoke. But unlike the smoky snooze roots, they, even when they're defeated, well, when they create the smoke, they defeat themselves. So there is no defeating them in order to get rid of the smoke, like the smoky snooze roots. And that is our rainbow medal. We just need to run past here before getting crushed. And that should be another 10,000 bonus. I wish they wouldn't do the 10,000 bonus, if I'm being honest. Because all it does is it creates a system that after you get 10 Kirbys, you don't want to get any more fruit. Because it just slows the game down. But now we want to get into this cannon and wait for these Clank Sprouts to come up. Because with the Clank Sprouts coming up, you get your final medal from hitting all of them. And with 10 Kirbys, that spring should always go down far enough to give you a clear shot with the Clank Sprouts. Now we are just waiting for a bomb. Basically, you have to blow up this door, that goes back up, and then you have to blow up this. So it is a lot of waiting and pushing bombs, but funnily enough, I like this section of the level because it teaches you something you'll need very quickly to know how to do later in this very same level. And if we can push this a little bit faster, I would like this not to blow up in our face. Was that far enough? No, it wasn't. Of course, when I'm talking, I'm not pushing the bomb fast enough. This should not be a difficult thing to do. All you have to do is throw your Kirbys at it and get it pushed up against these metal blocks before it blows up. Apparently, if you're right next to them, they don't explode, but if you're literally on top of them, they explode and give you your access way through this door. And the reason I said I like those bombs, or that like bomb teaching section, is because of this mini boss, which is the Giga Clank Sprout. The first part of this mini boss is basically just a keep away game. The Clank Sprout will claw and try to grab your Kirbys, and I believe if they grab a Kirby, they immediately hurt the Kirby. And then the second part of this boss fight is the bomb section, where they will drop a bomb and you have to see where they're coming from up top and push the bomb wherever they are going. They give you a real freebie in that first section by just making it in the middle and making the Clank Sprout come down in the middle. But for the other sections, you do have to push the bomb. So that's why I like the tutorial of pushing the bomb fast to get it to where it needs to be. And where are you coming out of? You are going on that side, so we need to push it all the way against this wall. Come on, push a little bit farther. The Giga Clank Sprout won't actually come out until one section before the bomb explodes. So it gives you the max amount of time every time to push the bomb, which is very nice. But we are just trying to pull the Clank Sprout all the way down. As you saw, when it explodes, you have the ring to throw the Kirbys at to pull it down. And this always takes 3 times. So no matter what you do, you are always waiting 3 times to get it pulled all the way down. And where are you coming out of? You're coming out of this side, so we need to be on this side to push the bomb that way. And that was actually very fast, pushing the bomb. Go ahead, come on down. And this last time, once it explodes and comes down, we once again put our Kirbys on the ring. And once we get it pulled all the way down, you see that it actually has a mouth for some reason. And we just have to play tug of war with it, which does 2 things, which is weird. One, it slingshots it back into the mouth, which is not how chains work at all. Like, they're not elastic in the least, so they wouldn't sling back like that. And 2, it makes it explode for some reason, which is more believable than it flinging itself back on itself. But it's still kind of funny. But that is all of the medals and everything in that stage. And Now we are just moving on to our final stage of the day, stage 9. And this one requires us to have 7 Kirbys. And there's actually not much reason to deal with these stactuses. So get in the cannon before they try to hurt themselves more. Yeah, you could just run back by those stactuses, get in the cannon, come up here, and get into the door to actually get into the stage. And as you can see, there are 2 doors here. And you would think immediately, like every other stage that we have done in the game that has had multiple options, that you would have to do this stage more than once. But if you know the order of the doors in this stage, you actually don't. This stage works in such a way that you can go through every single door and get every medal within one run of the stage. But we just want to defeat this gig real quick before it makes any more bean bonds. And now my least favorite part of this stage is the 2 mech gigs, because they work very well together to just hurt you. So I would recommend prioritizing hitting one and taking it out as fast as possible to make the other one a lot easier to defeat. Now that we're down to 1, this should not be a problem. Everyone move over here. And we should be able to hit... We had to hit it one more time, but of course, it's just gonna waste our time a little bit. And once you defeat all the gigs, the door opens, and you get access to... Come on. You get access to a key and a bomb that does nothing, so I'm not even going to blow it up. So, next up, we just need to go through the left-hand door. And this is another stage that really relies on you pulling down the chains and just running through. Basically, this whole stage is pull down chain, get the chain to a spot you want it to be at, or get the blocks in a spot where you want them to be at, and then run. And there's very little difference between all of these sections of this stage that you need to do. But we are just going to break apart that stone grinder to not deal with it anymore while trying to break these blocks. And here, we have a bunch of regular steel grinders, as well as another stone grinder, but this stone grinder we actually have to defeat, because it gives us access to a ring. And once again, like every other ring in this game, you have to pull it down to give you access to something else. In this case, a skeleton key to send us to the Scullies. And once again, we just do our favorite method of dealing with Scullies: throw Kirbys upwards. I don't think I've literally ever lost a Kirby to one of these stages, which is pretty funny considering that the whole purpose of the Scullies is to grab the Kirbys and take them away. I just don't think I've ever lost a Kirby to it. But that gives us access to our first medal. I wanted to say second for some reason, but that's our first medal. And we're just going to continue onward. And this chain, I recommend pulling all the way down, because it allows you to run over here, pull down this one, and then send a Kirby to break into the door. Somebody get in the door. Anyone get in the door. And we just need to take out this one. And there's actually not a ton in here except for this fruit box. I just wanted to show that this is another level with a fruit box in it. Making it like probably 8 or 9 levels in this world that has given us fruit boxes. And it's literally the only thing in here besides the one Mamban. So if you need extra Kirbys, that's a really nice place to go to get extra Kirbys. But we just want to pull this down the rest of the way. And straight up, we are just going to run through this because you have just enough time to get all your Kirbys through after that section. And here I want to show that right there is your warp door. And the first door here I want to go through is actually the middle door. And the middle door, we just have a bunch of bomb spots. And I believe this is the first stage that actually has bomb spots. So it's a good thing to show to teach you how they work because they become very important in future stages. But we are just going to walk up through here. Kirby, stop being poisoned. I would much appreciate it. And I'm not gonna like this result. I could just wait for the smoke to be cleared, but also I could just kill the snooze root. The snooze root must die in order for me to live. Basically here it's showing that these bomb spots will flick between what it has, and if you hit it while it is a skull, it'll just drop bombs on you and not blow anything else up. So you want to make sure that you hit it on the explosion part in order to actually do what you want it to do. Alright, all Kirbys mass attack this man. And what we need to do is first kill the snooze root. Smoky snooze root, you must die for me to live. Take out the Mamban to make my life easier. And now we need to hit the bomb spot because it's what blows up the metal blocks and gives us access to our second medal once we brought the key all the way here. And that's basically all we need from this room. And that brings us back to the main room, and we need to go to the second right door now, which is filled with water, unfortunately. Also, blam bombs. Kill the blam bombs for me so I don't have to deal with them. And we need to go in the water for this. Everyone in the water. And this is another side-scroller level. It forces us to take our time and not kind of rush through this, but also it gives us the only option of missing this very easy to get coin or medal, because all you have to do is swim up here and grab it after you break the block. But if you're not paying attention, you could technically miss that medal. And that is our third of 5 medals in this stage, and the last one that is in this water section. And luckily, I am getting better at throwing Kirbys in the water, because that is a semi-hard section to throw the Kirbys at. And we have another Q in. I think I'm just going to swim past it, because I don't need to deal with it. I have 10 Kirbys, and I'm not really hurting on air, so I'm not super worried about trying to get the air in that section. I say as I get hit trying to get air in this section. Luckily, this part is not a side-scrolling part, so you can just wait and hit the blam bomb or blam booms at your own pace, which is very nice that you don't have to rush doing that. But finally, we need to go through this left door. And unfortunately, I have Kirbys that are hurt. But fortunately, this section only has really insta-kill parts to it, and I know mostly how to get past them. So, good for me, I guess. We just want to hit the bomb, please. And basically, you will see from this point onward, one side will have star blocks and the other side won't. I basically am going to go to the sides that doesn't have star blocks every single time. Just to make my life a little bit easier. Come on, throw downwards so that we don't die. And we actually have to go across here, so we are going to break those and just move our way across. And you can see how you can instantly die here. Basically, if you get stuck on any of these blocks and it just pushes you against the top of the screen, you just die. And we want to be on the right side for this one, so we don't have to deal with the star blocks. And then this time we want to be on the left side and go ahead and take out the stactuses. And this is where we get our rainbow medal. We are also only 3 fruit away from another bonus. But luckily we did not lose any Kirbys during that section, because as soon as you get out of that section and go through this door, you are presented with a 10 Kirby platform that you are required to have 10 Kirbys for in order to get this final medal. And that is the final medal. What is a medal? Medal of the stage. And that is the end of the stage. So we are just going to end this here. And luckily no Kirbys were KO'd, just hurt by a lot of things. But that is 3 more stages down in the Sandy Canyon. So I think we're going to end off here. I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, we take on the boss of the Sandy Canyon. But until then, happy adventuring.